Freddy is a successful dentist in Mumbai, India, but socially he has always been the awkward, introverted type. Ever since he was a kid, connecting with people never came naturally to him. And as an adult, that same problem follows him into every relationship attempt. He keeps going on dates, and he keeps getting rejected. One of the clearest examples is when he meets a woman named Shireen through a dating app. Freddy tries his best to make conversation, but it comes out stiff and formal, almost like a job interview. The moment becomes uncomfortable, and Shireen eventually walks away, leaving him sitting there with nothing but embarrassment. Outside of work, Freddy's life is quiet and repetitive. His only real companion is his pet turtle, Hardy. When he has free time, he builds and tinkers with model airplanes. Day after day, it is the same routine: clinic, home, model planes, feeding Hardy, and talking to Hardy like he is his closest friend. The only other person who regularly checks in on him is his aunt Persis, who calls often just to make sure he is doing okay. Then one night, Freddy gets a call from an unknown number. It is a woman named Ava, and she says she noticed his profile on the dating app. Freddy falls into the same pattern again, speaking too rigidly, overthinking every word, trying to be perfect, and sounding unnatural. Still, he gathers the courage to ask Ava to meet him at his usual spot, a place called Blue Cafe. The next day, Freddy shows up early, holding flowers, ready to finally have a real chance at love. But Ava never comes. The waiter at the cafe recognizes him immediately and feels bad for him because Freddy has been coming to this exact place for years, meeting different women, and nothing ever works out. While Freddy waits, a chef at the cafe quietly snaps a photo of him on his phone. And then the truth comes out. Ava is actually there, sitting inside with her friends. She is not late. She is watching. She brought her friends just to mess with him, letting him wait on purpose. When Freddy finally gives up and decides to leave, Ava and her friends mock him, copying the stiff way he talked on the phone the night before. This is where everything starts. This is Freddy. A few days later, Freddy attends a wedding for a distant relative. His aunt tries to help and encourages him to talk to women there. In fact, the family has started to assume something must be wrong because Freddy has never had a girlfriend, and they do not understand why. Then Persis points him toward a beautiful woman in a blue dress who had glanced at Freddy earlier and smiled. Freddy tries to approach her, but his nerves take over, and he ends up saying something awkward. The kind of thing that instantly makes a conversation die. The woman shuts it down calmly, and the moment is already painful enough. But then it gets worse. A man named Rustam walks in, and it turns out he is the woman's husband. Rustam is also a wealthy restaurant owner, and his business is catering the wedding. The moment he thinks Freddy is making a move on his wife, he gets aggressive, shoves Freddy, and warns him to stay away. Freddy leaves with the humiliation stuck in his head. Even though he now knows she is married, he cannot stop thinking about her. Her face stays with him, even in his dreams. Then the very next morning, the woman unexpectedly shows up at Freddy's dental clinic. She is there for a wisdom tooth removal recommended by a friend. She introduces herself as Kainaz, and she apologizes for her husband's behavior at the wedding. She explains that Rustam can be possessive, especially when he is drunk. During the exam, Freddy is clearly distracted, caught up in his attraction, and not fully acting like the professional he is supposed to be. He schedules her for an X-ray first, with the extraction planned for the following day. Before she leaves, Kainaz notices a photo in the clinic. It is Freddy's mother, Ruby. Kainaz recognizes her immediately. Ruby is a well-known musician who inspired Kainaz to learn the cello. But since marrying Rustam, Kainaz admits she has not played music at all anymore. Meeting Kainaz clearly pushes Freddy even deeper into his obsession. He starts imagining a future with her, a family, even children, and he does not care that she is already married. By the next day, her wisdom tooth extraction goes ahead as scheduled. Freddy insists on using full anesthesia, claiming it is safer and more comfortable, even though a simple local anesthetic would normally be enough. Once Kainaz is fully sedated and asleep, Freddy asks his assistant to step outside. Alone in the room, he quietly confesses his feelings to her while she is unconscious.
I love you.
Only then does he proceed with the extraction. Because Kainaz has a skin allergy that reacts badly to dishwashing soap, Freddy prescribes medication that is safe for her condition and instructs her to take it twice a day. He also asks her to return the next day for a follow-up. Freddy offers to drive her home, but she declines, saying a friend is already coming to pick her up. From Kainaz's patient form, Freddy now knows her home address and phone number. That same night, he impulsively goes to her apartment, not to meet her, but simply to watch from a distance. Inside the apartment, Kainaz is immediately confronted by Rustam for coming home late. He is angry, hungry, and furious that she has not prepared food. Even after she explains that she just had a tooth removed, Rustam ignores her explanation and repeatedly hits her. Freddy witnesses everything, frozen in place. Unable to intervene, what he sees triggers memories he has buried for years. Freddy remembers his own childhood, growing up in a home filled with violence. His father was brutally abusive toward his mother. One day, when Freddy was still in elementary school, he witnessed his father murder his mother with his own eyes. After that, his father took his own life. From that moment on, Freddy was raised by his Aunt Persis, who became his guardian and cared for him into adulthood. The next day at the clinic, Freddy is restless and anxious. Kenaz does not show up for her appointment, even though she was supposed to arrive 2 hours earlier. He asks his assistant to call her. When they finally reach her, Freddy learns that she cannot come that day. Freddy warns her that skipping the follow-up could lead to an infection and offers to come directly to her apartment to check on her. Since Rustam does not allow other men into their home, Kenaz suggests meeting instead at a nearby park. Despite having other patients waiting, Freddy rushes to see her. When they meet, Freddy is shocked to see bruises on Kenaz's face. He realizes what has happened, but Kenaz cannot bring herself to say it out loud. She breaks down in tears. Trying to comfort her, Freddy awkwardly cracks jokes and buys her ice cream. Once she calms down, Kenaz explains that her husband is extremely controlling and possessive. He does not even allow her to meet her own friends, not even women. Before they part ways, Freddy reassures her that her recovery is going well, pointing out that she can eat ice cream without pain. Kenaz thanks him for his care and attention. As his connection with Kenaz grows deeper, Freddy convinces himself that their relationship has moved far beyond doctor and patient. He asks his receptionist to reschedule the next day's appointments, already planning to take Kenaz out on a proper date. He immediately goes on a shopping spree, buying new clothes, new shoes, everything brand new, all so he can impress her. That same night, Freddy goes to Kenaz's apartment and notices that Rustam is out jogging. From outside, he calls Kenaz and asks to meet her, saying he has something to give her. Freddy is overwhelmed with happiness when she agrees, even though it will only be a short coffee meeting. Kenaz also reminds him not to call late at night anymore, since Rustam is usually at home. The next day, they meet for coffee, and Freddy gives her a self-motivation book as a gift. He even tells his Aunt Persis that he has grown close to a woman and is planning to marry her. After that, they begin seeing each other more often. Whenever Rustam is away for work or traveling out of town, Kenaz visits Freddy's apartment and is introduced to Hardy, Freddy's only true companion. They spend time walking around the city, talking, dining at upscale restaurants, going on routine checkups, and eventually Freddy builds up the courage to hold her hand during a movie. The moment crosses a line, and they end up kissing intensely. Almost immediately after, guilt hits Kenaz, and she rushes out of the theater. Freddy tries to reach her, but her phone is switched off. When there is still no word from her the next day, Freddy panics and goes straight to her apartment. Rustam is not there, but Kenaz's face is now even more bruised. Once inside, Freddy impulsively asks her to marry him. Kenaz is shocked. She refuses, reminding him that she is still married to Rustam, even though she is trapped in an abusive relationship. She breaks down, crying uncontrollably, completely lost and unsure how to escape the chaos of her life. Later, when Freddy returns home, his aunt asks about the woman he has been seeing and when he plans to marry her. Freddy has no answer. The following morning, Freddy asks Kenaz to meet him at a park. He claims he has a powerful solution that will free her from Rustam's abuse so they can be together. That solution is murder. Freddy insists that she does not need to be involved and that he will handle everything himself. Terrified, Kenaz refuses to accept such an extreme plan. Freddy leaves her with a cruel choice. Either Rustam dies, or she continues living a life of constant suffering. Seeing her fear, Freddy reassures her and asks that they cut off all contact for 1 week. No calls, no messages, no meetings, while he focuses on carrying out his plan. The preparation begins immediately. Freddy studies Rustam's routine, especially his nightly jogging schedule. He monitors the area around Kenaz's apartment, acquires a gun, and carefully plans every detail. Then one night, as Rustam jogs through a deserted street, Freddy speeds toward him and runs him down. He does not stop there. He drives over Rustam again and again, back and forth, making sure he is dead. Afterward, Freddy tells his receptionist to cancel all patient appointments for the next few days, claiming he needs to travel to his family villa in Karjat. Once there, he asks the caretaker to spread word to the villagers that he is in town and available to treat anyone who needs dental care. Free from suspicion and filled with anticipation, Freddy celebrates alone, dancing with joy, imagining a future where Kenaz is finally his, dancing beside him at the villa. The next morning, Freddy asks a local mechanic to fix the damaged front of his car, claiming he hit a dog. While staying at the villa, he spends his days treating the teeth of nearby villagers, acting calm and helpful as if nothing has happened. Back in Mumbai, the police are still struggling with Rustom's hit and run case. The accident happened on an isolated road. There were no witnesses, and heavy rain washed away potential evidence. Investigators learned that Rustom, despite being a wealthy restaurant owner, was widely disliked because of his harsh and selfish behavior. Still, no one seems to have a clear motive to kill him. The police continue the investigation, convinced that a clue will eventually surface. Not long after, Freddy returns to Mumbai, filled with excitement. He goes straight to Kainaz's apartment, expecting to reunite with a woman he believes he sacrificed everything for. Instead, he finds another man there. Kainaz is dressed provocatively, and she and the man openly embrace and kiss in front of him, without shame or hesitation. The man is Raymond, a chef from Blue Cafe, Freddy's regular spot, the same person who secretly photographed him earlier. The truth finally comes out. Kainaz has been in a relationship with Raymond all along. She married Rustom not out of love, but as part of a plan to eventually take over his restaurant. Raymond had learned from a waiter at Blue Cafe about an introverted man who constantly failed at dating. Together, Raymond and Kainaz saw an opportunity. They exploited Freddy's loneliness and desperation, slowly pulling him in, gaining his trust, and making him fall deeply in love. Step by step, they pushed him toward committing the ultimate crime, killing Rustom so they could be together and gain control of the restaurant. They warned Freddy that if he interferes again, they will report him to the police as Rustom's murderer. They claimed to have plenty of evidence, photos of Freddy watching Kainaz's apartment, records of calls and messages. From the outside, it would look like a man driven by obsession, killing a husband to claim a newly widowed woman. Freddy is completely shattered. Shock, rage, humiliation, and heartbreak crash into him all at once. When he tries to confront Kainaz, Raymond violently pushes him down and presses his foot against Freddy's head. Kainaz makes it clear that she never loved him and never could. She reacts with disgust at his touch, throws the book he once gave her, and forces him to leave. Back at home, Freddy breaks down. His entire life feels like a chain of cruelty and loss. His mother was murdered by his father. He grew up introverted, awkward, and unable to connect with others. He never knew how to communicate, never found love, and now the one woman he truly loved has used him without mercy. When Freddy wakes up the next day, he burns every piece of new clothing he bought just to impress Kainaz. Even so, he keeps working, maintaining his professional image at the clinic. Later, he visits his Aunt Persis, trying to steady himself and confessing that the woman he hoped to marry is no longer part of his life. While all of this is happening, Kainaz is busy planning renovations for the restaurant, focused on attracting influential guests from across India. One night, just before closing time, Freddy suddenly shows up. He keeps ordering the same drink over and over, sitting silently, staring at Kainaz and Raymond without blinking. Raymond grows irritated by the attention and deliberately contaminates Freddy's drink. Freddy notices, but he still finishes it without breaking eye contact. At one point, Freddy calmly asks for a simple apology, just once. Instead, he is violently struck and threatened again with being reported to the police. Freddy does not react. He quietly pays his bill and leaves. In that moment, all of his anger, humiliation, sadness, and heartbreak finally transform into pure revenge. Freddy begins preparing carefully. Every step is planned with precision. When he sees Kainaz and Raymond leave their apartment, he makes his move. He calls a locksmith, pretends he has lost his keys, and gets a duplicate made. With that, he gains access to their home. Inside the apartment, Freddy switches Kainaz's facial soap with dishwashing liquid, knowing it will trigger her allergy. He steals her allergy medication and secretly mixes sedatives into their food. While tampering with Raymond's laptop, they suddenly return home, forcing Freddy to hide outside the window. When he finds an opening, he escapes without being noticed. Later, Kainaz washes her face with the altered soap, and both of them eat the drug food. That night, once they are fully asleep, Freddy sneaks back into the apartment. He accesses Kainaz's phone, deletes all her messages, and sends a threatening text from it. He then erases all incriminating photos from Raymond's phone, striking him repeatedly while he is unconscious, and finally sabotages the brakes on their car. Not long after, Kainaz wakes up in pain, her skin burning and covered in rashes. Realizing her allergy medication is missing, they rush toward the hospital. On the way, the car nearly crashes multiple times due to the damaged brakes, before slamming into a construction barrier. With no other option, they take a taxi to the hospital. Kainaz receives treatment, and within 2 hours, her allergic reaction begins to subside. But Freddy's revenge is far from over. He plants a large gecko inside the restaurant's food. A customer discovers it and posts the evidence online, where it quickly goes viral. Health authorities move to shut the restaurant down, forcing Kainaz and Raymond to rush there in panic. While they are distracted, Freddy enters the apartment once again and begins the second phase of his revenge. He logs into Raymond's social media account and uploads intimate photos of Raymond and Kainaz, adding a degrading caption that publicly shames her. At the restaurant, Kainaz desperately tries to charm and even bribe the inspectors, but they refuse. A contamination incident has become a public issue, and the restaurant is ordered closed until the investigation is complete. Already furious, Kainaz becomes even more enraged when she sees the humiliating post on Raymond's account. After thinking it through, Kainaz becomes convinced that Freddy is the mastermind behind the chain of disasters ruining her life. She shows Freddy's photo to one of her staff members and asks if he was the one who found the gecko in the food. The staff member is unsure since the customer who discovered it was wearing a hat. While riding in a taxi, Kainaz receives a furious call from her mother. She has seen the photos posted online and is outraged that her daughter appears to be involved with another man so soon after Rustam's death. Without wasting any time, Kainaz and Raymond head straight to Freddy's apartment. What they do not realize is that Freddy has already anticipated this move. When he sees them arriving, he immediately calls someone and deliberately leaves his door wide open. He even relaxes his jaw, fully aware that he is about to be beaten. As expected, the moment they enter, Raymond attacks Freddy viciously. Not long after, two men arrive at the apartment. The call Freddy made earlier was to the police. Kainaz immediately accuses Freddy of murdering her husband, Rustam. She lays out her version of the motive and lists everything Freddy has done to torment her. The police are not convinced. Her story sounds exaggerated and inconsistent. When officers ask for evidence, there is nothing left on their phones. No messages, no photos, nothing. The inspector points out that Dr. Freddy is a well-respected figure in the area. The inspector even offers Freddy the option to file a complaint for the assault he just suffered. He also tells Freddy to call immediately if Kainaz and Raymond cause any further trouble. Freddy chooses not to pursue it. Kainaz and Raymond are ordered to leave. Freddy watches them go with a calm, victorious smile. Kainaz is furious and talks about burning down Freddy's apartment and clinic, but Raymond stops her. The police are already watching them closely. Still, Kainaz begins to form a new plan for revenge. Elsewhere, Freddy spends time with his Aunt Persis. She advises him to forget the woman who hurt him, but Freddy admits he never truly can. He then asks about a long-standing rumor, whether his mother had been unfaithful. Persis confirms it. That truth explains why Freddy's father once lost control after discovering the affair, planning to take Freddy away before everything fell apart. Later that night, Freddy returns home to find bullets scattered outside his door and his apartment completely trashed. He immediately calls Kainaz, accusing her and Raymond of leaving the bullets and destroying his place. Kainaz denies everything. Freddy responds by claiming that he has released a snake inside their home, even though it is nothing more than a belt. Already paranoid, Kainaz believes him and decides it is safer to move into a hotel temporarily. Once they arrive at the hotel, Kainaz and Raymond suddenly realize something. Freddy only mentioned the bullets. There was one crucial detail he never brought up. They quickly call him back and reveal that they have taken his turtle, Hardy, and killed it to be used as food. That is the moment Freddy truly breaks. Panic takes over as he searches desperately for Hardy and checks the security footage outside his apartment. The footage confirms it. They really did take his only companion. Hardy, the one living being Freddy truly cared about, is gone. Freddy builds a grave for Hardy, even without his friend's body. The loss pushes him past grief and into pure rage. Right after that, he calls the caretaker at his family villa, instructing him to clean the house because guests will be coming, then tells him to take a week off. Next, Freddy meets with a homeless man. They talk privately, and Freddy hands him some money. The man is later sent to the police to give a false witness statement, claiming he saw the heat and run while relieving himself near the road. The police are skeptical at first. They question why the report is coming in so late. The man explains that no one wants to get involved in legal trouble and that he only came forward because the image of the mangled body kept haunting him. The police check the license plate number mentioned in the statement. It leads directly to Freddy's car. Soon after, Freddy is questioned at his dental clinic. The police ask where he was at 9 o'clock on the night of August 4th. Freddy calmly says he was at home and acknowledges that the questioning is about Rustam's murder. He admits the car is his, but insists someone else was driving it. He pretends to be frightened for his life, claiming he is being threatened, while the police press him to identify who borrowed the car. Freddy then delivers his carefully crafted lie. He says that Kainaz called him that night, saying her car had broken down and asking to borrow his. He claims she told him to leave the keys inside the vehicle. According to his story, Raymond came to pick up the car. An hour later, it was returned with damage to the front and traces of blood. After seeing news about Rustam's heat and run on television, Freddy says he realized that Kainaz and Raymond must be responsible. He claims he wanted to report them, but they threatened to kill him if he went to the police. Freddy also presents supporting evidence. There is CCTV footage showing Kainaz and Raymond placing bullets outside his apartment as a threat, vandalizing his home, and taking Hardy to kill him. Then there is the text message. Earlier, Freddy secretly sent a message from Kainaz's phone to his own number containing a clear threat, warning him that if he spoke to the police after lending his car, he would be killed. With all these details laid out, the police finally understand the picture. In their eyes, Kainaz and Raymond now appear to be the real masterminds. Freddy's revenge has been careful, layered, and disturbingly precise. As soon as the police leave, Freddy tells his receptionist to close the clinic for 4 days, citing an urgent personal matter. Meanwhile, Kainaz and Raymond reinforce their apartment. They install CCTV cameras in every corner and change the locks, preparing to capture Freddy if he tries anything else. Then everything shifts. The inspector suddenly calls and summons Kainaz and Raymond to the police station for interrogation that same evening. Shortly after that call ends, Freddy contacts Kainaz and informs her that he has reported her and Raymond as the true killers of Rustam, accusing them of using his car. Freddy explains that he has CCTV footage of them entering his apartment and threatening messages sent from Kainaz's phone. Hearing this, panic sets in. They know the police are likely to side with Freddy. Raymond demands to know what Freddy wants. Freddy's condition is simple. They must come to his family villa in Karjat to apologize in person, or all the evidence will be handed over to the police. He also tells them to bring a suitcase, claiming he needs it to transport his late mother's belongings stored at the villa. Following Freddy's instructions, Kainaz and Raymond travel to his family villa, bringing a suitcase with them. What Freddy does not know, at least on the surface, is that they are planning to kill him once they arrive. When they meet at the villa, Freddy calmly sets his gun down in plain sight and prepares drinks for both of them. Seeing the gun left unattended, Kainaz quickly grabs it and turns it on Freddy, forcing him into submission and demanding an apology. She pulls the trigger, only to discover the gun is unloaded. This was no mistake. Freddy did it deliberately, using the moment to test whether they had truly come to apologize or if they were still driven by violence. Raymond snaps and attacks Freddy, choking him in a fit of rage. But Freddy is ready. He pulls out a taser and incapacitates Raymond, then does the same to Kainaz. When they regain consciousness, they find themselves restrained and fitted with mouth openers. Freddy then appears dressed in his dentist uniform, surrounded by medical instruments. As he carefully checks his tools, he lays out everything they have done to him. They manipulated his trust, exploited his loneliness, pushed him into murder, discarded him, humiliated him, and destroyed his life. They even killed Hardy, the only companion he ever truly loved. All Freddy ever wanted was a sincere apology, but they could never give him that. In a last attempt to survive, Kainaz tries to manipulate him again, claiming they are soulmates and should start over. Freddy sees straight through it. He asks her to play the cello, recalling her earlier claim that she learned it because she was inspired by his mother. The truth is exposed instantly. She cannot play at all. Freddy smiles, knowing every word she has spoken has been a lie. Just like her last attempt to seduce him. He restrains her once more and proceeds with his final act. Freddy performs a brutal operation on both Kainaz and Raymond, extracting all of their teeth without any anesthesia. Meanwhile, the police try to reach Kainaz and Raymond, but their phones are switched off. Officers go to their apartment and find it empty. When they check Raymond's laptop and review the CCTV footage, they see the couple leaving with a suitcase. The police conclude that Kainaz and Raymond have fled the city to avoid arrest. This is exactly what Freddy predicted. From the very beginning, his revenge was built on a flawless plan. He knew they would install cameras, and he knew the police would misinterpret the footage and assume they had run away. Back at the villa, Kainaz and Raymond, barely conscious, are placed into graves dug in the yard. Freddy buries them alive, sealing their fate. Before covering the grave, he admits that he still loves Kainaz. The story ends with Freddy lying calmly between the two fresh graves, a silent symbol that his revenge is complete. No one ever discovers what truly happened, and no one ever knows how Kainaz and Raymond met their end. So the moral of the story is never trust dating apps, never ignore red flags, never mess with a dentist who owns a turtle, and definitely never underestimate a quiet guy with too much free time.